Fight fans, fight fans, fight fans. This is Kurt DeVille with Counter Punch Boxing News. And I am live once again for the verdict is in. Bars. Mama Lou, counterpunch to you. Um, we have, you see the video of Del Boy saying about Daniel coming out with excuses. No, I have not. I have not seen what Daniel has said, but I would like to know. If you guys give me the lowdown, I haven't read that yet. Man, it's been busy. We've been working. We've been putting in work. There's been a lot said from all four corners, from the Klitschko's to Derek Chisora to Tyson Fury to Eddie Hearn to all types of people had their opinion to say about the fifth round knockout or forfeit of Daniel Dubois. And let's counterpunch. Ryan, Matthew Ryan, what's up, brother? Peace. Tony Lyons, yes, I'm here. Counterpunch to you. Chino Figueroa, counterpunch. Salute. Alex, hello there. Kurt and friends. Counterpunch. Listen, man. I don't know if you guys heard seen my videos today, but this is to talk about the verdict of Daniel Dubois, because a lot of people now are saying Daniel Dubois is just a straight up quitter. Once a quitter, always a quitter. He's done it again. He struck again. He showed us that he's given up in this fight, and we got to talk about it. Okay, MILF Chaser Luke. Rumors are Dubois had a concussion going into the fight. Face red, smiling live. Face red, smiling live. Face red. Okay. Tony Lyons, Spencer Farron said how Triple D was late due to cars not showing up to get him on time and was caught in traffic. And apparently that's why he looked agitated with the ring walk. You know what? I haven't seen Stamina for sale, but I'm definitely going to reach out to Spencer Farron. We're going to have him live later this week. You know, we're going to make a great effort. You know, he comes in regularly. So, I look forward to talking to them to get his counter on it. Greg Nichols, counterpunch to you, brother. Hello. No, I didn't think he quit. I think he was just exhausted and effed. I think he half quit. Thought about it the first time, then got up and then took a left hook. Harry Lime. I mean, that was where I was at. And I just want to know you guys, your take on it. Everton Downer, he just got beat up. Jason, dumb boys. You guys are massively massively crucial, man. I did remember he was late, and that was the big question. Where the hell is he? Why is he late for his own fight? You know, and this reminds me of Francis Ngannou when they said, well, these people didn't pick me up or this, that, and the other, and you know, this didn't happen and that didn't happen, and you know, and I had to wait around and stuff like that. And in Daniel, you know, being late, I did just hear some stuff from Talk Sports because I was on a business call, and they were saying like, hey, it was a lot of people that like 40 or 50 people that were waiting, and he had to wait and stuff like that. But it's crazy. Um, the reason Triple D was late was he had a house party the night before. Okay, so I guess they were congratulating Daniel before he even won the fight. That's smart. Or was they thinking about all that money that he was going to get guaranteed anyway? Which one was it? Because, you know, to have a party before the fight, I guess it conveys two things. One, you're either celebrating beforehand, or two, you're celebrating just in case he loses. So you might as well make the best of it while he's the IBF heavyweight champion. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's the only way that I can think about it. That's the only logical explanations I could come up with, right? Alex, I think the future for Daniel, good champion again. Um, Now I think Daniel's young enough. He's going to be champion again. He's too young not to, unless he just quits. Unless he quits. Unless he says, no mas, I'm through, I'm tired. I want to go to Brazil and become a full-time whore. I want a house out there and I want to run the termas over there, and you know what I mean, and buy a yacht and just sail around Brazil, because I mean it looks like that's where he's, so he has a Brazilian baby now. His baby's half Brazilian, half British, half Brazilian. So yeah, I think he has vested interest in Brazil now. Tony Lyons, but that's exactly what happened to AJ. He showed up late and did not get to warm up or watch the TV undercard to hype himself up and rushed to the ring. Right, rushed to the ring walk might have played a part. Might have, but you know, AJ walked stiff, bro. AJ looked like he was a dead man walking, bro. Dead man walking. Dubois looked like he quit, but he probably didn't. We weren't knocked down in his place, so we can't know. Okay, Tyson Fury. Joe said Triple D was late because old Brick Top made him clean up his crayons before he could get out. Spencer also said there was a big problem in his camp with Triple D's dad being involved in Don not being able to be head coach. Now, you know what, Tony? I could believe that just based on what I heard Dave Allen say, based on, what I saw firsthand, based on, the things that we already know about Stan. I think Stan is a guy that's pretty controlling. I think he wants to, call the shots. But here's the deal. If you want to call the shots, become the man. Hell, if you're already the man, why would you spend money on Don Charles if you already know that you're going to do things that you know that Don Charles is not going to like, just only trying to do his job, right? These new age fighters are mentally weak. They arrive late and get knocked the F out. Hi, everybody from the Ukraine. Counterpunch to you, brother. Crazy Legs hit show. But even if Triple G turned up late, I still think the same thing would have happened. Stop making excuses. He was battered rounds 1 through 5. AJ really pissed me off that night, being a big AJ fan. Oh yeah, I think AJ pissed a lot of people off. I think people should be madder at AJ now than ever, because see, now the dude just came by and beat them both. And now it's a hierarchy. You still got to put AJ under Dubois because Dubois clobbered him. And Dubois just got re-clobbered, right? He just got beat again. Verdict. Dopey Daniel is a shite boxer bully. Like all bullies can give it, but can't take it. I don't know if he's a boxer bully. I just think he beat AJ's ass. I mean, AJ's supposed to be the big brother in that situation. The big brick brother that he, sparred with many times before, that he looked up to. He's supposed to did his business. See, even like if you look at like Dmitry Bivol and Artur Beterbiev, they were in the same facility. They were in the same training camp. They were in the same place. So Dmitry Bivol looked up to Artur Beterbiev because he was older. He was much older, right? Well, the same for AJ and Dubois. So Dubois looked at what AJ accomplished, and Dubois was, motivated by the accomplishments of Anthony Joshua. So that's exactly how it's supposed to win. It's supposed to win that way. It didn't supposed to go the way we saw it. AJ went out there and got his ass whooped like he forgot how to fight. You don't let little brother come in that's supposed to know less than you, that's supposed to be more less inexperienced than you, do what he did to AJ. That makes AJ look worse. Just keeping it a buck, bro. Now I know everybody has a bad day. Everybody has a bad day. Nobody comes in at 100% all the time, but it's your job to do so, to turn up, to turn out, to be ready on the times when it's important to be ready. Not in the gym, not at home, but in the ring. Dubois' stamina is bad. He looked exhausted. Usyk's style bad for Dubois because he pushed him at a high pace. Well, I mean, to be fair, I don't think it's just Daniel Dubois. I think Usyk beats a lot of people with pace. He beats you with pace. He beats you with the pace that he sets. You can't keep up with that shit. That's why he trains so hard, because what happens, he out-trains you so he can outwork you. That's what he does. He puts his endurance and stamina, reflexes and all that on the line. He makes you work harder. He makes you react harder. He makes you respond quicker, and that tires you out, because if someone makes you immediately jump and keep doing it, you're going to be tired before you know it, because it's something that you're not accustomed or you're not equipped to do. Like someone makes you like, look out, and you jump over or you move out of the way, or let's say you're about to be hit by a car and someone says, look out, and you have to dodge to get out of the way. Do that shit 10 times in a row. You will be exhausted, bro. Bars. You will be exhausted. But he is known for quitting, so it's always open to interpretation. Usyk fighting in the perfect era where the comp is trash. I don't think the comp is trash, the Chuckster. I don't think the competition's trash at all. We got a lot of good fighters here. You think Caballo's trash? You think Parker's trash? This is the thing, though. Perception is everything. It's everything. See, we're looking at the fighters that he's beat, and he's beat them, and he's looked very impressive. But it's not over yet, and I have to remind people of that. It's not over yet. It's not over until he hangs up the gloves. It's not over until he hangs up the gloves. Usyk wasn't even a true heavyweight. Now he is scary. No, Daniel feels 72. He's a true heavyweight. I don't know why people keep saying that. You need to take those Lennox Lewis words back to him. That's Lennox Lewis bullshit wanker talk. That's what that is. Alexander Usyk is 227 pounds. He is a true heavyweight. I mean, what else does he have to prove? You could argue that Roy Jones wasn't a true heavyweight because he fought once and took his ass back down, which I think was dumb. But you can prove that because he wasn't there long. He hasn't campaigned there. He never campaigned there. He just fought once and then he went back. Usyk's been there for 7 fights. 7. Since 2018, he's been there. He's been there since 2018 or 19, right? No. Was it 19? No, it was 2019. So he's been there for 6 years. So you're telling me that a man that's been in a weight class for 6 years that has beat everyone there is not a heavyweight? That's the bullshit Lennox Lewis is saying, just like Keith Thurman said about Terrence Crawford at 147 when Terrence Crawford came from 140, from being undisputed to 147 and kicking every ass as we go. And then by that time, he'd already took out Jeff Horn. He took out Jose Benavidez. He took out Mean Machine. And then Keith Thurman made that dumbass comment. Well, he's not really, that boy ain't really a welterweight. That boy ain't welterweight. He ain't even a welterweight. But you're saying that shit. But he's already bagged 3 bodies at welterweight, but he's not a welterweight. See, when you bag 3 bodies, when you beat 3 people back to back, and you're campaigning at that weight, right? How can someone tell you you're not that weight class and you're dominating in the weight class? You're successfully beating these guys by stoppage in that weight class. How can somebody tell you that you're not that weight? You made that weight. You're kicking ass at that weight. You're stopping people at that weight. You're not struggling at that weight. You're not getting decisions at that weight. You're stopping people at that weight. In fact, he stopped everybody at that weight. So how can you say that he's not that weight? So how can Lennox Lewis or Keith Thurman say that these fighters, Terrence Crawford and Alexander Usyk, are not at that weight and they're dominating at that weight? What kind of bullshit are we trying to be fed here? And then see, we got guys like Daniel Field believing the shit. Daniel, please don't believe those guys. That's bullshit wanker talk. That's talk from haterade. Lennox Lewis don't like his legacy tested, right? That's why he does not want to give Usyk the credit that Usyk deserves. That's why. Keith Thurman, he didn't want to give Terrence Crawford credit, and his ass been out of the ring since Manny Pacquiao. So, you know what I mean? Like, let's stop all that. Let's stop all this. Oh, well, he's not a true this and not a true that. What kind of shit is that? That's not a true welterweight. No. I don't want to hear any more of the true or ain't or he's not this. Where you got guys like Lawrence of Hawley being a bridger weight, damn near 270 pounds. This dude was 262 pounds, but he's a bridger weight. No, he's a heavyweight. So, I mean, I don't want to hear it. It's just dumb, you know. Triple D, when the going gets tough and he gets knocked down, he has no heart to get off of the canvas. Well, I mean, he got off the canvas. I just think there's no true resistance for him to continue doing so. Michael L., he quit. Usyk would beat Lennox Lewis ass in his prime. Pulverize. You know what? I don't know about that, but I will say this. Made Parker look better than he is. I mean, but here's the thing. This is what I'm saying about that. If Parker fought Usyk and he lost to Usyk, but it went 12 rounds, who's better? Parker, or should I say this? Who had a better performance, Parker or Dubois? So it's Parker, because if Parker fought Usyk with the skill, the style he has at 32, 33 years of age, you know, and he fought Usyk, and he may not didn't win, but he gave it a competitive effort. Okay, and then they went 12 rounds. But Usyk won. He's the victor. That's what he does. He outpoints you, outlands you, out-hustle you, he outs you, right? So if that's the case, that means Joseph Parker did a better job than Daniel Dubois. That means his style was better. That meant he could have, should have fought Joseph Parker, because Joseph Parker did what? Gave him a better challenge. You see what I mean? It ain't about winning and losing if you give this guy a challenge. Now, if you can beat that guy, that's a whole different issue. But at the same time, if you can't even get past round 5 in a rematch when you're supposed to be bigger, stronger, changed individual, new, a whole different beast, a whole different animal. What were they saying about Daniel Dubois again? Remember that? They were supposed to have been saying that he was this different, changed guy. And I've told people, no, he wasn't. And people saying, Kurt, you're hating. Why am I hating? No, you're just hating because he beat AJ. No, I'm not. I'm just telling you guys the facts. We don't know how he's going to do against a guy that already beat him. We're talking about guys that he fought that had nothing to do with Usyk. Now he gets his ass back in the ring with Usyk. Now we all know, don't we? Now we all know, don't we? Oh, but Kurt's a hater. Oh, you're hating on Daniel. I'm not hating on Daniel. I congratulate Daniel for what he did. You know what I mean? I congratulate him and his family. You know, when I talked to them, I told them, hey, congratulations. You guys deserve it. You guys did what you needed to do. But that doesn't mean that I'm going to go a step out of the way and say, hey, he's a different guy now because he fought different opponents. That's just stupid. No. But to be fair about Lennox Lewis versus Usyk, listen, who has Lennox Lewis fought like Usyk? Did he fight any slick southpaws? No. Who did Lennox fight? Who did Lennox Lewis fight like Usyk? Parker ain't beating Usyk. People say Parker is better than he has ever been. Definitely not. Parker is not as fast as he once was. He is now slightly flat-footed, plants his feet. No, I do agree with that, Tony. I did a short on it and everybody jumped down my damn throat. What do you mean? What I mean is he's thicker, he's bigger. He's thicker, he's bigger. He's not as slim as he used to be. Maybe it's the island curse from the island warriors. You know, they tend to get thicker as time goes on. You know what I mean? Parker's trainer said that he talked to Usyk's team and they said Parker wasn't worth the risk reward. Damn. Damn. Now that's disappointing. But the thing is, if that's the case, if they said that, Michael Buckland, and this is what I want to talk to you about because I got to keep it 100. I got to keep it a buck. If they said that, oh, he ain't worth the risk. Okay, fine. Quit. Retire. Get out of Dodge, because if you're not trying to fight the guy that you claim, that what the fuck would a risk mean versus reward if you're not fighting for legacy, if you're not fighting to keep or to show people to continue the and for once, how about this? He has to still defend the titles. See, one thing Lennox Lewis can say, he defended those shits. He got knocked out in the process, but he fought and he got it back, didn't he? Think about it. Lennox Lewis defended all those belts when he got all those belts. He was the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. Yes, in a 3-belt era, but he defended those belts. You know, so for people to say, oh man, he ain't worth the risk. I mean, is he the mandatory? So if he's the mandatory, that is exactly what he should do. The risk is worth the reward, because the reward would be you proving that you are the true undisputed heavyweight champion. You got to do more than just obtain the belts. You have to also defend them as you have them. You have them all. You have to defend each and every one of them. They're like kingdoms. They're infinity stones. You got to fight for all those shits. You can't just have them and then give them up. Because what difference would that make? You're not the reigning and defending. You have to be reigning and defending. I have to remind people of how boxing truly is supposed to be. That's why Tyson Fury does not really deserve the true title of being unified champion. WBC, sure. Why? Because he defended the belts, even though the defenses were low opposition, i.e. Derek Chisora at the time, because everybody didn't want to see that. Nobody wanted to see a trilogy between Tyson Fury and Derek Chisora. Francis Ngannou, he never been in the ring before. So why would we want to see that fight? Okay, so those were piss poor challenges, but at least he was defending them against someone. You can't say, hey, well, I got the belts now. Let me sit on them and hold them hostage. Oh, that's bullshit. I don't care who you are. You can't do that. Now, remember, people, the shit only happened 2 days ago. Okay? Daniel Dubois got a well-whooped ass whooping 2 days ago only. So we have to still be in the mode and understand what happened. And I know people are still in awe of what happened. And the people that are still in awe of what happened may find what I say offensive because I'm too ahead of the game. Because I'm business as usual now. I'm like, okay, now what? He rests now. It's time for the undisputed heavyweight, undefeated, 2-time undisputed king, Alexander Usyk, to rest. He needs to rest now. Do you think Dubois can beat Joyce? He can now. Of course he can. If that would probably be the safest fight to make if I was Team Dubois. Put his ass in there with Joe Joyce. Because Joe Joyce is nothing where he used to be. Because Zhang showed us that, you know. So then he gets an opportunity to beat to shit, because he only got beat by 2 people. So if he fought Joe Joyce, beat Joe Joyce, he would avenge one of his losses. Everyone can beat Joyce now. I don't know. I know a lot of people can versus when they weren't willing to before. You see what I'm saying? The Fox, he'll drop who let Fury win. It then fights Fury for 3 times, undisputed. Then he'll retire. I don't want to see that. And then at that point, I will already know that that's a front. That's a tactic. That's a gimmick. See, what people don't understand, and I may piss a lot of people off right now, but I'm just got to keep it real. Usyk knew exactly what he was doing. Who's to say if we get a third fight with Dubois, I would be infuriated at Usyk. You know why? Because Usyk is doing something that Tyson Fury once upon a time did. Hell, he ain't getting no credit for it. I mean, he did, but then when Eddie Hearn started questioning him, well, what is the use of fighting one guy over and over again when you could fight other guys with other challenges and other styles that may give you a challenge? People jump down his neck, and I know they jump down mine. Oh, you just hate no Tyson. No, I'm not. He didn't have to fight Deontay Wilder again and then again. You see, he already beat him the first time. So why the hell would he be fighting him again? You know what I mean? Just because a group of people claimed that he cheated. Hell, I know Tyson Fury's a cheat, but he didn't cheat in the way they said he cheated, and the idiots should have placed that all on the line, put that all on the chopping block. They weren't smart enough to do that. That's what the commentary was saying, that because every Usyk has done, he cannot hand pick who he fights next. And the same that comes that I don't agree with is Fury and AJ. Well, he got the belts from AJ. He got 3 out of 4 of the belts from AJ. He got the other belt from Tyson Fury. Now he has all the belts. Tyson Fury is supposedly retired and he's coming back. Anthony Joshua was coming back from a elbow surgery operation, right? But what do they have to do with Usyk and the next man in line? See, Usyk was one of those guys just like Joseph Parker was. He was exactly like Joseph Parker. The only difference was he was coming from a different weight class, but in the queue, he was still that dude, right? So imagine if Joshua did him like that, and he could have, and he didn't. So my suggestion to Usyk, stay like you were. Fight your mandatories. I know you have voluntaries because Daniel Dubois was needless to say a voluntary, but it was an up for him because he was also a belt holder, the same belt that he relinquished back to the IBF, which Philip Hergovic and Daniel Dubois initially fought for. And then he wanted it back, and he got it back. And Usyk himself, people, don't forget, he was afraid that Daniel would lose to Joseph Parker. That's what he said during an interview. He said, I was a little bit afraid because Parker, because Team Usyk had already said that they favor 51 to 49%, or was it 60 to 40? I think it was 51% to 49% that Joseph Parker would beat Daniel Dubois. So they tipped it in favor of Joseph Parker to beat Daniel Dubois. So yeah, you think, I think they were behind that whole thing, snatching that shit away. They snatched it away because they didn't know if Daniel Dubois was going to beat Joseph Parker. Nikki Blue Eyes Austin, right here, Kurt. Hope I haven't missed much. No, I started 28 minutes ago. We're still cooking. Let me cook. He signed a rematch clause with Wilder. Yeah, he did. So what? So what? You know what I mean? Johnny Nelson said it 2 years ago. Dubois has quit in his DNA. Ooh, yeah, he did say that. He did say that. I remember that interview. Matthew Ryan, but my argument is Usyk has nothing to prove now. He can fight who he wants. No, I'm going to stop you right there. He can't fight who he wants. People, we need to stop with the praising a fighter holier than thou. We need to stop that shit. That's when and how we get fighters complacent, entitled, spoiled. Right? Because What we do is we praise a fighter, and we should be praising Usyk right now. I'm not saying we shouldn't, but what we do is because we give praising a fighter sometimes gives fighters delusion of grandeur. Yeah. See, if he's oh man, he can fight who he wants, he has nothing to prove. Listen, as long as he's fighting, as long as he's active, he says 38 is just the beginning. Why would he decide to fight guys that he wants to fight? The guy that he wanted to fight, people, he already fought. That was the voluntary. So Daniel Dubois is a voluntary. Now it's time for the mandatory. Do you guys understand? Dubois was not a voluntary. Dubois was a voluntary. Dubois wasn't a mandatory. That's what I meant to say. Okay? Dubois just happened to have the IBF strap, but he was a voluntary. So it's now business as usual. So this whole thing, oh man, he can fight who he wants. He has nothing to prove. He has nothing to prove. He needs to retire, which I have no problem because for me, it's perfect record, 7 fights, 7 wins. So he is 7-0 with 2 knockouts, right? Because he knocked out Daniel Dubois twice. So he's 7-0 and 2 in the heavyweight division. Okay. Job well done, Usyk. Right? Job well done. But don't get like other fighters like Tyson Fury and pick up old habits of fighters that we will in time begin to dislike. Because the last thing we want to do is get Alexander Usyk in a mindset of thinking he can do whatever he wants, and then he will become disliked. Then we will be looking for that Moses Atoma fight, or those guys that, they had no other choice because they were done wrong, because these fighters, these champions, this champion has decided, you know what? I can do whatever I want. If you get the Canelo Alvarez mentality, think about it. Canelo has that mentality. I am the best in the world and I can do whatever I want. Well, if that's the case, Canelo, why don't you retire, man? Because nobody wants to see you fight people we don't care to see you fight. We want to see you fight the best champions. Usyk is no exception. Why should Usyk be an exception? Because he beat Daniel twice? People, we need to wake the fuck up, please. We need to see what boxing's supposed to be versus what it is versus what we're trying to get it to be, which we will get to the point we won't like. But guess what? We can't blame nobody but ourselves if we say shit like, oh, he can fight whoever he wants to fight. No, he can't. No, he can't. He's the undisputed champion. He got work to do. That's like being an undisputed champion is like this. It's like being the president of the United States, the president of the UK, the president of the Ukraine, and the president of Russia all at the same fucking time. You have work to do. You can't do whatever you want. You have to do what's required for the kingdoms that you hold. It's his responsibility now. He needs to fight the best fighters. You can't stop at Daniel Dubois. Why? Because he had an argument that he think he hit you low and it or illegal, and it was illegal according to the referee. He quit in round 9. He really shouldn't even get another chance anyway. I think, and I want people to understand this. The way he did it was more impressive than the opponent. See, we didn't know that he was going to knock Daniel the fuck out, right? We didn't know he was going to do that. And guess what? The verdict is in anyway, and we got to talk about the verdict. What is the verdict? Are you guys ready for the verdict? Here is the verdict, people. The verdict is Daniel Dubois quit. He quit. And I'm going to tell you how he quit. Daniel Dubois quit based on his inability or his lack of eagerness, his lack of anticipation to get his ass up off the ground. We've seen people knocked out. You know how they act? They act like AJ act. They act like Trevor Burbank act when Tyson knocked him out. They act like Larry Holmes act when Tyson called. They act like David Tua. They're trying to get off the ground, but they're rolling around on the ground. I'm using that. I'm using that as an example because he has all of it. He has all of these. He has the WBC, he has the WBA, he has the WBO, he has the IBF, he has the Ring Magazine, right? Those belts have guys that have fought hard for those in most cases. They fought other fighters for those to deserve the opportunity to fight for the championship. Needless to say, all the champs, all the championship belts belong to one person, and it's Alexander Usyk. My friend, you are talking louder rubbish. I don't know how I'm talking louder rubbish. How? Exactly, Marvin. And it's a joke here in the UK. The British media hardly give him any praise. It's a disgrace. No. Here's the thing. It's not about that. I'm not from the UK. I'm not mad at Alexander Usyk at all. The thing is, this is the time to praise Alexander Usyk. Like I told you guys, that it's time to understand what he's done as a champion. He should get some rest. You know, he should get some rest. He should be praised. He should be respected. I don't buy the bullshit about the excuses. Daniel Dubois got beat because he's not that good, and he's surely not as good as Usyk. Usyk is the best due to the people he's fought. He's the best. He's better than all those guys. It shouldn't be a controversy. It shouldn't be this type of narrative or excuse on why he lost, why he won. He won because he's one of the best fighters in the world. If not, he is the undisputed heavyweight king, people. That's Alexander Usyk. That's his title. Usyk needs to defend his belts or drop them. That's true. But see, AB, listen, let me tell you something. You can't say that right now. AB, you can't say that right now. You know why? Because people are going to jump down your throat. People are going to say, you know what? You're hating. You're not praising enough. So guess what? We got to praise until that question gets raised again. Who is he going to fight? When's the mandatory? The best man won. Absolutely. XK shots. The best man won. Too much credit. Too much credit. Bad fighters make good fighters look special. Well, hold on. I'm not going to say that either. See, that's what I disagree on. And you guys misconstrued me, Jay Rahman. Dan Dubois is not a bad fighter. He's just not better than Usyk. You know what I mean? In that case, that's every case. Good fighters are just better than fighters that they're better than. Doesn't make the fighter that lost bad. See, if that's the case, that means Usyk's no good. I'm not saying that. I think Usyk's very good. I think he's very good. He beat Tyson Fury. He beat Anthony Joshua, and those guys beat most fighters. Look at their resume. Look at Tyson Fury's resume. He has 2 losses to Usyk. Look at Joshua. He has 4 losses, and 2 of them are to Usyk. You see what I'm saying? Dubois has 3 losses, and 2 of them are to Usyk. You see where I'm going with this? See, some people, Michael Hunter, 1 loss, it's to Usyk. You call someone with 1 loss and they've been in the ring and they've battled that many times, they're bad now? You can't call them bad. You know what's bad? 10 losses, 12 losses, right? Because you've been beaten by a percentage of the people that were in your division. So no, you're not considered good. But just because you have 2 or 3 losses doesn't mean you're bad. And I think people get carried away with that, especially in the sport of boxing. Especially in the sport. Hunter is amazing. Sucks what happened to his career. Yeah, but I mean, the only person to beat him is Usyk because Usyk's that good. Understand that. Usyk has put a stamp on all these British fighters. And I know some Brits are pissed. They're secretly pissed. They don't want to be haters, but they hate. But it is what it is. Usyk is the exception. You understand? He's the exception. He's that good. But he trains hard. He trains hard. He dedicates himself. He prepares. That's discipline. Look at Russia wanting to take Ukraine capital in 3 days. Triple D dad to blame heard they had a party on Saturday. Well, I don't know if it was Saturday. I think he had a party on Friday, but it depends on parties because you don't know how long. What kind of party was it? Was it a Diddy party? Was it a wild, crazy party? How long did the party last? Did it last? Did it start Friday and end Saturday, knowing damn well Daniel Dubois had to go to a fight? That should have been the day before the fight, should have been one of the quietest days for Daniel Dubois for him to meditate. Not a bunch of people with chandeliers walking around with champagne glasses and beer cans. That's bullshit. You know what I mean? That was a bad call. That wasn't very smart. But I think whoever started the party or created the party was celebrating for other reasons. And I think that other reasons was that my son is going to make $71 million. So we're all about to be rich. So therefore, let's have a party. And we might as well have it before the fight because I don't want to I want to live up this moment. That's what I think it was about. I could be wrong, but I mean, just educating, uh, educated mindset. Hey, yeah, Stan made this big ass party, brought all these people over, ordered all this shit. We about to get paid, bitch. Superstar, get me paid, bitch. And they did all that. They had a big party. Did Triple D party with them Brazilian girls? I don't know who he partied with. I don't know who he partied with, but I know one thing that's a distraction. Shit, look at Mike Tyson. You guys know Mike Tyson? The day he got the night. Mike Tyson, when he got knocked out by, uh, Buster Douglas, he had a threesome, or no, he had an orgy with some Japanese women, with Bobby Brown, with cocaine involved. That's a fact. It's my prerogative. I do what I want to do. I want to do what I want to do too. I want some women. I want some cocaine. I want to do it with these girls, these Japanese girls. I'm going to put them on the clitoris and sniff it out. Yeah. And then he got knocked out by Buster Douglas in Tokyo. Mr. Zane, shout out for that super chat, brother. Thank you, bro. Kurt, Spencer Farron explained why he had a party. It's to hype the team. They did it for the AJ fight too. Okay. Well, maybe that was the wrong thing to do for Usyk. But then again, he might have been beat anyway. Well, you can teach that actually. Triple D is looking for an excuse. Party or no party, Usyk was still going to beat him. I believe that he was going to get beat. It's just crazy. Can't blame him. Them Japanese women are lovely. Yeah, I do agree. They are lovely. They are loverly. Yes. Jab bunnies. Daniel Field 72. Let's see here. What do we got? You don't know the Brits hate. We loved Mayweather while Americans hated on him, and we love Usyk, Tyson, Ali. They beat Brits for fun. Damn, it's bad. Triple D keeps his gloves too far apart. Usyk's jabs him right between those gloves. Yeah, that did happen. I mean, but that's Daniel's style. He's a big, stiff, hard. Don't let him hit you though. You know what I mean? Ask ask AJ about that. He called AJ, and AJ's like, "Ooh, this bloke can punch. How much do you bench? Yeah." Lack of professionalism stopped Iron Mike from fully fulfilling his potential. Imagine how much more he could have done. Yeah, but I mean, when Customato, he showed when he was with Cuss and when he was with Mickey Rooney and he was with Teddy Atlas, he showed the best that he could have been. It was people there he could have beat, but it is what it is. Tyson beat and he became undisputed heavyweight champion anyhow. So I mean, he fulfilled that dream. While he did that for Cuss. The only thing is how long could he have done that? Well, that's one thing, but it's not like an Ika Barabucci story. Mike Tyson ain't that sad of a story. Mike Tyson was a guy that went through hell and high water, found a guy, a boxing aficionado, a hypnotist, that took him under his wing, that believed in him and poured everything he had into him, which was a quite beautiful thing. And then, he went on, even though Cuss died. I think that's the saddest thing because Cuss couldn't really see that, but he knew that this kid is going to be something special. That's why he poured what he poured into him. And he was special, and he was special for many, 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 many fights. There was a long time before he got knocked out by Buster Douglas, and he had accomplished everything that he needed to accomplish. So, you know what I mean? It's not like Ika Barabucci. Ika Barabucci never got to that level because he was, he had all this talent, but he was just batshit crazy and mentally disturbed and all this other stuff. And he never got there. Mike Tyson got there and a lot more. This dude had a fucking video game. Remember Mike Tyson's Punch Out? Huh? He married Robin Givens. Robin Givens was one of the lead ladies at the time that turned into the most hated women are the most hated woman in America. Facts. Don Charles didn't teach Triple D any defense for Usyk. I don't know what he taught him or didn't. Whatever he taught him, I don't think it was executed well. I want to learn from Ivan Punch. Ivan Punch. Yeah. Yeah, and he threw that punch too. We had the best of Mike. Yeah, I mean, Mike Tyson was Mike Tyson, and then we had more of Mike Tyson when Mike Tyson got out of jail. Then we had more of Mike Tyson after he bit Evander Holyfield's ear off. Then we had more of Mike Tyson when he got beat by Lennox Lewis. Then we had more of Mike Tyson from the Hangover movies. We had the coked out Mike. Then we had the hangover Mike. Then we had the weed smoking Mike. Then we had the bald headed Mike. Then we had the hot boxing with Mike. We had so much Mike Tyson. We are blessed by Mike. He's a living legend. So let us not forget it. Mike Tyson has been around for a long time, and Mike Tyson has been showing us Mike Tyson's love, and we got to beat somebody's ass on the airplane, Mike Tyson. We got a lot of Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson is kind of, in essence, our Muhammad Ali in our time. He had a heck of a career, but sounds so unprofessional. Well, it's Mike Tyson. Smooth Will, you said Mickey Rooney. It's Kevin Rooney. I'm sorry, Mickey Rooney. Oh, yeah, it's Kevin Rooney. That's the baseball player. You're right. Smooth Will, I've been counterpunched. Your captain speaking banned. That's disrespectful to Tyson. Your captain speaking? T-Laws Fitness. Let's be honest. AJ is much better boxer than Daniel. He just wasn't ready for the fight. I mean, I think if they threw a party, I don't care if they threw one at the AJ fight. If they threw a party for Usyk, that means they didn't take Usyk serious enough. Fighting AJ wasn't for undisputed. Fighting AJ was somebody that could have taken his belt. See, he had something to lose against AJ, but he had everything to gain against Alexander Usyk. So in that case, he should have done things differently, everything differently. So there, in essence, there shouldn't have been any fight. I mean, any party. There should have been only silence, concentration, rest, sleep, preparation, prayer, black magic, whatever the hell they do over there, right? So it should have been that. Kurt, I love your passion for the sport, but your reading is appalling. You misunderstood many comments. Which one? Tua would have beaten today's heavyweights. Tua would have knocked out a lot of people, bro. David Tua would have knocked out a lot of people. And the fact is, Tua's still training right now. His Excellency wants Usyk. Yeah, I don't know. Like it came in at the end of something. Today's heavyweights are a joke. I disagree. I think today's heavyweights are very good. In 5 years, his his has four different fighters. Remember Mike Tyson with the twist and the part. Yep, I remember the yeah, I remember those twists he used to have. I remember my one of my older brothers, he wanted a part like that. My dad wouldn't let him get it. Kurt, I love Usyk, but it is right to question the skills of this era. I just think he's better than the people in this era. And he can't do shit about it anyway. What can he do about it? He can only beat the guys that are here. So guess what? The TCTV. Let's do this. Usyk would ruin Atoma. Unfortunately, just two different eras. Um, if you think the skill set of this era, right, that means he should keep fighting the guys to show that he is constantly the best. So that means you have to constantly look for better opposition, right? Competition he needs, if you believe that. Mr. Zane, as for Dubois coming late, Stan promised to pay the driver with right side seats instead of cash. He took his time. Triple D ended up driving with his dad. Yeah, that was stupid. Like that's some unprofessional shit right there. Very unprofessional. Very, very unprofessional. Stop about David Tua. Would be a gatekeeper at the top 10. Could knock out the pretenders like Wilder and Jared Anderson, but would lose every round to Usyk, Vladimir, Vitali, and Jololo. Well, Vladimir and Vitali, why are we adding them in there? That's stupid. They're not even here. They're not even in this era. I'm saying if Tua was in this era, would he be a gatekeeper? Well, I mean, hey, put Derek Chisora in there with him and find out what happens. Gatekeeper. Put Derek Chisora in there like how he fights. Derek Chisora would go to sleep. David Tua would render him unconscious. He would do him like Dillian White did him in their second fight. And I love Derek Chisora, but he ain't fucking with David Tua. Oh, no. No, he wasn't the best around. He had stamina issues and he had problems being lackadaisical. He had a lot of issues too. David Tua made you want to pull your hair out watching him fight because you know he was a plodding fighter, you know, and then like when he thought to punch, he would, but he wasn't a busy guy. He wasn't a monster. He wasn't a Mike Tyson, you know. Am I dead yet? Hey, Kurt and everyone, counterpunch to you. Dubois is a damaged fighter now. No, I don't believe so. I think he quit, therefore he's not a damaged fighter. I think he's just mentally lacking that fortitude to deal with adversity. See, as long as Danny Dubois, people, as long as he can hit you, he'll fight you. He won't quit. But if he can't hit you and he feels it's a lost cause pretty soon, his mental will crash. His mental will crash. Wait a minute. Come on, man. Come on, bro. What? I don't think I heard that right. Vlad and Vitali are still part of this era of fighters post 2000. No, it's not. Tua was easily outclassed by Chris Bird. That's true. The blueprint was laid out on Tua. I mean, you just keep Tua back, avoid the big punches, avoid the left hook, and then he learned how to throw overhand right, an Ivan punch, and that was knocking people out too. But no, Vlad and Vitali are not in this era, bro. I'm sorry. I don't know where the hell you get this shit from. Certain fighters, some fighters fight 20 years, some. Most it's about 8 or 9 and they're done. You know what I mean? So that's like every 10 years, you know? So every 10 years we have a new stream of fighters. See, this isn't 2015 no more. See, to be fair, Vlad's era was then. Then he got beat by Tyson, but his last fight was in 2017. He gave it a hell of a go, and then it was over, right? Usyk versus Wilder next. I mean, I don't want to see that shit. The only fights that he should be concerned with is Joseph Parker and I get Caballo. See what he could do. He could fight Get Caballo or Joseph Parker. Either one first. It doesn't matter to me. Then fight a voluntary, and that voluntary could be whoever the fuck he wants it to be. It's a voluntary. But the next fight should be Get Caballo. The Klitschko brothers defeated a bunch of rubbish fighters. Vitaly was pretty good though. I think they were both killers. It just they didn't have the appealing style to keep everybody entertained. People hated that shit. The jab and grab, the jab right hand and grab. You know, Vlad would have this like leaping left hook that was pretty destructive. If he caught you with that thing, he would put you out. Those were some big dudes, bro. They were giants. The Klitschkos are giants. Usyk's a little dude compared to those guys. I mean, hands big as shit, hamburger helper hands. Dude, they'll hit you, they'll hurt you. I want to see Usyk versus the hardest puncher in boxing history, who is Caballo. Okay. I want to see that fight too, because I want to see how Usyk deals with the body punches. Because I think, me personally, Caballo would probably give him probably a hard fight, because he will attack his body where Daniel didn't. And I don't understand why Daniel didn't. I don't understand why Daniel didn't. I don't understand why this man did not go to the body. He went I only saw him throw one body punch. Let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in thy sight, O Lord, my strength and my redeemer. Psalms 119 and 14. Love, grace, counterpunch to you. Caballo also has the best chin in the division. Bro, he has a chin. He has a chin, bro. Because he caught that shot from Zhang. A lot of people would have went down. A lot of people would have went down from that shot. So Caballo is in. But we have to remember something. Alexander Usyk, I am very feel, should be appreciated, respected. And if he said, you know what, I'm going to stay with my family, I'm going to retire, I'm through with the sport of boxing, I would 100% respect that. Because there's nothing else that he has to do. But people, that doesn't mean he shouldn't do anything any longer. You're getting that shit mixed up. You know what I mean? You're just saying, oh, I can walk around with all these belts and not fight anybody. No, that's stupid. That's counterproductive anyway. You want someone with all that productivity and all that success, do nothing? And then what will happen if, okay, let's say if Usyk is what you guys wanted him to be, right? If Usyk is what you guys wanted him to be, he would eventually get beat by inactivity. Because he would stay around so long fighting whoever he wanted to fight, and he would do showcase fights instead of challenging fights, and then the challengers get hungrier. And then when it is time to fight him, he gets his ass whooped because he's not prepared for him. Just like Daniel. I told you dudes. I told everybody. I said Daniel is not prepared for Alexander Usyk, and he's going to get his ass whooped again because there was nothing that prepared him for the task at hand. He was out of the ring since he clobbered AJ. He got a false sense of confidence, and then he ducked Parker. He could have learned from Parker to know, okay, I know what to do with a guy that knows how to move. No. Akabarabuchi exposed two of the new era now. Appreciate your Black Warrior spirit with that $2 love. Usyk would beat the brakes off of Atoma, especially with Ben Davison in his corner. Ooh, because Ben's an offensive dude. He's one of them beginning offensive guys. Yeah. I mean, and then what will happen when he beats Moses? Everybody will say, "Man, that was stupid for taking and putting Moses in there anyway." No, motherfuckers, you guys pushed him into it. You guys hyped him all up to get and pressured him to fight all these top guys. And then you get him in there and he loses. Then you jump down his back. Then you question the whole thing. Don't question it now. You guys were just wrong when you pressured a young guy that hasn't been tested. That's wrong. That's wrong for a lot of reasons, people. It's wrong. Okay? Caballo can only hit what is standing in front of him. He can't hit that what's elusive. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. Because shit, all Frank Sanchez was doing was moving. Yeah, you forget. Caballo also knows how to cut off the ring. Now, keep in mind, I understand the guys that he fought were hella massive. They were all bigger than him, even Sanchez. But he knows how to do that thing too. Now, not saying he's going to do Usyk like he did Zhang. No, I'm not saying that at all. But it will be a pretty good fight for him to fight. Kurt Alexander Usyk versus Michael Hunter rematch would be interesting. I think Michael Hunter needs to get to that point. I think maybe, just maybe, because I don't see Usyk fighting Michael Hunter again. You know what I mean? It's bad and it's sad because some people get to that point where they think they're fucking better than people. You know what I mean? Like, no, I'm not going to do that. Michael Hunter has to put himself in position, and he has to undeniably he has to put himself in a position that they can't refuse him. That's needless to say what's going on right now. What makes me nervous is they pushed that Pulev fight back. I'm like, what the hell? Why did you push the Pulev fight back? Why did you push it back? So, because, Daniel Dubois is not a Caballo. Caballo is not a Daniel Dubois. Joseph Parker is not a Daniel Dubois. Okay? But no, Daniel quit. He didn't make the urgency to get up. Therefore, that's a true knockout. That wasn't a true knockout. That was more like a TKO. And it's a TKO anyway, because you guys seen my video. As you see the angle where Don Charles threw in the towel. So there wouldn't have been that. But again, it was to save face because, it's better to throw in the towel to forfeit a fight versus to see someone get knocked out. But needless to say, ironically, he's already knocked out. Hunter needs strong shape. Beterbiev gave it to Usyk. Stop this nonsense. Yeah, he did. He sure did. He was able to, chop his ass down. You think Caballo can't do the same? We'll see. And those were smaller guys. I think smaller fighters will give Usyk more issues than these big bastards. 6'4", 6'5", 6'6", 6'9", all that shit. Nah. Because those boys will eventually gas out, whereas guys that are his size, that have the stamina to keep going, that will make him work, that will challenge his endurance. That's what you want to see. You want someone to go pace for pace with Usyk. Something like Michael Hunter did before until he ran out because he couldn't outpace Usyk. But he did give Usyk a go. That's why people say, oh, that was a good fight. Because if you saw that fight, you seen Michael Hunter had spots in that fight where he was very good. So there you go. Kurt Alexander Usyk versus Frank Sanchez. I don't know if Frank's ready for something like that. First time Usyk said he would KO an opponent and did. Yeah, he did. Something, needless to say, Tyson Fury should have done in their second fight. In the rematch, he should have been the one that knocked out Alexander Usyk because he said he was going to do it. And if he said he was going to do it and he actually did it like he did with Wilder, he would be on top of the world right now. Tyson Fury, I told you I was going to beat the Dulce. I told you I took it easy. I told all you creeps over there. I told you. You Ukrainian prick. Screw you, Vladimir Klitschko. I beat your boy. Right? Yeah. Salute Kurt. People should watch Caballo versus Argron Smakisi before claiming that Usyk will lose to Caballo. Smakisi is an MMA southpaw fighter, and he almost knocked out Caballo. Usyk is not Smakisi. Good point. Kurt, I think Tyson Fury beat Caballo. You think he beat him or you think he beats him? Because he never fought him, dude. I don't know. I think Caballero would stop Tyson Fury. He would bust him to the body. He would work that body, that midsection. He would break down Tyson Fury and eventually make him quit too. Tyson, I think, is smart enough to, get on that bicycle. So once Caballero starts landing those body shots, he's going to pick up and start doing some laps because he's like, hell no, I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna stay still to allow you to punish me to my greedy belly. I'm not gonna do that. He ain't gonna let Caballero. He ain't gonna let him do all that, bro. He's going to He's gonna move, hold, grab, submit, tangle up, tussle, maybe do a little holding and hitting. Tyson, he's gonna do that. He's gonna make that a dirty, murky fight. And then what he's gonna start doing, he's gonna start countering Caballero coming in. That would be a good fight though, bro. Tyson Fury versus Caballero. You know what I mean? So it would be a good fight. But no, man. Tyson Fury, I don't know what he's going to do. He's delusional. But it is what it is. I do think though that Usyk deserves the credit for what he's done in the sport. I do think he should keep going. I would like to see him challenged more because Daniel Dubois gave us a fucking piss poor challenge, didn't he, or did he not? So, but that still shouldn't take away from the victory and the knockout, exciting fifth round that we received from Alexander Usyk. So he should be able to go home, be with his family, chill out, make another baby, spend some money, have sex, and cash checks. Bars. That's what Alexander Usyk should do, right? And we should appreciate him too. So you guys, I'm going to keep on keeping on. I've got a lot more videos to do. But yeah, the verdict is in. Daniel Dubois has quit again. Bars. He's quit again. And he's quit again. The first attempt he got up, sure. But then the second time, yeah, he didn't get up. And he made no effort to get up. It was effortless. He got up when he wanted to get up because he knew when he got up, it was over. So guess what? Daniel Dubois quit again. The nature has returned of Daniel Dubois. The adversity has returned as well. So we see who Daniel Dubois is. We see his true weakness, and it ain't really went nowhere. It was just hidden very, very, very deep within. But you guys, love you guys. We'll be back tomorrow to discuss who should Alexander Usyk fight after his rest. So stay tuned tomorrow for the next live show. So it's either tomorrow or Wednesday. What's the day? Okay, it's probably be Wednesday, Monday, Tuesday or Wednesday. We will be back to talk more about the heavyweight division. And till then, everyone has been counterpunched. Peace.